If you're looking to make some snazzy investments this year, you've come to the right place. Did you know you could buy watches as an investment? Rolex, to be specific. Trust us, you can't go wrong with this. And don't worry, we'll take you right through it so you can make the best choice for yourself. Here are the best Rolex watches you can invest in 2023. Rolex Submariner. Now, before we begin, it's important to define what we mean by an investment watch and to make it clear that this is not a get-rich-quick scam. Instead, in this video, we're going to talk about some Rolex watches that have either been discontinued or models that'll probably cost more to buy if you wait another year to make your purchase. Starting with the Regal Rolex Submariner, one of the few luxury timepieces in existence that's more widely regarded as a blue-chip investment. 2020 was a significant year for the collection as Rolex discontinued all 40mm models that were readily available and introduced a completely new line of models with 41mm cases. The new Submariner watches are extremely expensive on the open market, similar to any recently introduced stainless steel Rolex sports model. But this implies that the older submarine watches now represent a very attractive investment opportunity. The current reference 126610LN wears quite identical to the earlier reference 116610LN, despite a 1mm size variation and some slightly different proportions. Even though the older model doesn't have the more recent caliber 3235 movement, it is currently available for a few $1,000s less than the newer model, and still has most of the same features, including a Cerachrome ceramic bezel, blue glowing chromolite lume, and a solid link bracelet with glide lock clasp. Also, the references 16610 and 14060, which have 40mm casings and aluminum bezel inserts, offer excellent investment potential for 2023. They're not only among the most affordable Rolex Submariner models on the market, but they also represent the final generation to retain the traditional watch proportions prior to the introduction of super cases and maxi dials. What's more, two-tone watches have become increasingly popular recently. So if you're interested in adding a two-tone Submariner to your collection, you can get the stainless steel and 18-karat yellow gold reference 16613 for almost the same price as the all-stainless steel model. Rolex Oyster Perpetual. It's one of the earliest watch models in the Rolex catalog. The Oyster Perpetual has served as the brand's entry-level line of timepieces for a number of years. Even though there hasn't been much anticipation for the line in the past, 2020 was a big year for the Rolex Oyster Perpetual, and the collection's improvements even grabbed some of the spotlight from the recently released Submariner. A brand new 41mm Oyster Perpetual took the place of the largest model in the lineup, along with new movements and a variety of dial colors. The 41mm, reference 124300, and the 36mm, reference 126000, both of which have exceptionally bright dial variations, are currently changing hands for anywhere between 50 and 150% more than their brand new retail costs on the open market. As we moved into the second half of 2022, the recently withdrawn Oyster Perpetual 39, reference 114300, also racked up a ton of investing potential. The reference 114300's open market pricing has risen steadily since it was discontinued, despite its relatively brief production run from 2015 to 2020, and the fact that many collectors view 39mm as a kind of sweet spot in terms of case size. The previous 36mm generation suddenly provides collectors a lot of value for the money now that prices for the current production Oyster Perpetual 36 are as high as they are. Great time to strike. Rolex Explorer and Rolex Explorer 2. Now, the Rolex Explorer 2 debuted in 1971, making this year the 52nd anniversary of the Rolex Explorer, the brand's initial line of sports watches. In honor of its 50th birthday, Rolex unveiled an improved Explorer 2, reinstated the traditional 36mm size for the Explorer, and debuted a new two-tone model of the watch. The new Rolex Explorer 2, reference 226570, is largely the same watch as its predecessor, despite having a new movement and a few other minor improvements. This makes it a better value than the current production model, which is a few $1,000s more expensive on the open market. The earlier reference 16570 is now even more distinctive because the new Explorer 2 226570 is so much more identical to the older version. The Explorer 2 16570 has a smaller 40mm case, a separate GMT hand, and a dramatically different bracelet design, making it a lot different from other watches and a favorite among collectors. The older 40mm Rolex Explorer 2 models, including the reference 16570 and reference 16550, are now the top choices for individuals looking for a somewhat more compact Explorer 2 watch, because the current collection appears to be following the path established by the preceding reference 216570. It's worth noting that while many collectors welcome the 36mm case size's return, some loyalists think it's too small and would rather have the sweet spot size of the previous 39mm version. The reference 214270 is currently the only 39mm Explorer ever made, but prices haven't yet risen to reflect this. So if you want to start a collection, now's the time to get one. Oh, and FYI, the price of the reference 14270 has steadily gone up over the past year as a result of older models' greater demand due to the increased visibility of 36mm Explorer watches. Rolex GMT Master. The Rolex GMT Master 2 is one of the most well-known watches in the world. While you can make a quick profit if you're fortunate enough to buy one of the stainless steel variants at retail, the older and discontinued GMT Master watches in 2023 will offer some of the best investment chances. The price of a vintage Rolex is typically exorbitant, and the reference 1675 GMT Master has been on the pricey side for a while. But the following reference 16570, with its same case and acrylic crystal, you can even find older versions with matte dials, offers much of the same retro appearance and feel. Still, reference 16750 watches are often available for many thousands of dollars less than matte dial models, which means you can generally get reference 16750 watches for several $1,000s less than reference 1675 watches with matte dials, and for less than half as much as the older models with gilt dials. The first two iterations of the GMT Master 2 watch, the reference 16760 and the reference 16710, offer some of the finest value for the money amongst GMT Master 2 models. The reference 16760, also known as Fat Lady, is the first GMT Master 2 model. However, it only commands a very modest price premium over the reference 16710, which has a similar design. With that in mind, both versions feature traditional style and case proportions that are gaining popularity among today's collectors, and are among the more affordable Rolex GMT Master 2 watches available. The first of the 6-digit GMT Master 2 models, the reference 116710LN, is almost as inexpensive as the 5-digit series. It holds the distinction of being the first stainless steel Rolex watch to feature a ceramic bezel, and the only time that the color green has ever been seen on a stainless steel Rolex GMT watch, despite the fact that it doesn't have a split color bezel insert, which is probably why it's often overlooked. Prices aren't expected to remain this low indefinitely, given its distinctive design and significant place in the background of the brand's illustrious pilot's watch history, so make use of it. Rolex Datejust. The Rolex Datejust, in its traditional two-tone design, is the brand's most recognizable model to the general public. The Datejust is Rolex's best-selling timepiece of all time, and the 36mm version, made of stainless steel and yellow gold during the 1980s, when demand was at its highest, became a true classic. The iconic two-tone Datejust 36, which is instantly recognized and possibly one of the most beautiful timepieces Rolex has ever produced, is still startlingly affordable compared to other extremely popular models from the company. The traditional two-tone Rolex Datejust with a fluted bezel has been a mainstay of Rolex's collection for so long that it's now widely available pre-owned in a variety of configurations. But since the values for all of Rolex's other watches have continued to rise over the years, the traditional two-tone Datejust has suddenly become an undervalued option for those looking for a used Rolex. Historically, this availability has served to keep prices down. You can add one of these iconic Rolex designs to your collection for anywhere between $5K and $8K on the used market, which is only a slight price premium over those stainless steel equivalents. Your options include the reference 1601 with its pie pan dial and acrylic crystal, the reference 16013 with its flat dial and acrylic crystal, or the reference 16233 with its flat dial and sapphire crystal. Thanks for tuning in. There's your beginner's guide to investing in a Rolex watch in 2023. Which one will you go for? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more watch-related content. And if you like this video, be sure to check out our video on luxury watches that broke world records. You won't want to miss it. See you there.